No problem at all. We want to make sure that everybody's present and accounted for. So we will say to all of Facebook this morning, let's say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Here we are. So without further ado, let's get into this morning's Sunday service. So as you know, my name is Samantha Jones, and I will be your platform leader this morning. Since our friend Patty is on a much-deserved vacation, she and Cliff are hiking and enjoying the mountains of Colorado. And so, I know, but we have to miss her, don't we? So what we are going to do, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody just so that you know. All right, there we go. So what we're going to do today is explore fear. Ooh. And we'll be enjoying that with our speaker, Art Handy, today, who is one of our spiritual leaders. And we will be featuring the music of Jana Stanfield. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She is an amazing New Thought artist, and I love her. Just saying. So this month, we are talking about the power of will. And I love this little owl learning to fly that's willing to do what the inner will directs him to do. And we will share together our mission statement here at Unity of Wichita. It is inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. That is our goal. That's our North Star, is working to inspire spiritual transformation. And allow us now to just take a deep breath and center in as we move into our statement of being. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. God the good, omnipotent. Whew. Affirming that truth. It's pretty awesome. So today, since we are on live on Facebook, and we'll be introducing you to YouTube as well, all of you folks out there who may be new and unfamiliar with Unity of Wichita, we are part of a worldwide movement that is focused on connecting the divine presence of God within you and exploring your practical approach to spirituality. So, without further ado, let's welcome all of these people and one another and open up this service with a blessing. Now, this time, since we're all on here and we can't actually see each other, just go ahead and do it. Let's build up the energy. Rub your hands together, get it ready. Come on, Sammy, you can do it. Woo! All right, and let's share it. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you. Whew. That makes a difference, doesn't it? Just really getting involved and feeling it through your body. So glad that we're here together. So remember, I mentioned Jana Stanfield. Get ready. I'm so excited. You guys are gonna love it.
If you can talk, you can sing. If you can move, you can dance. If you can love, there's a chance for romance. So sing, love, dance.
You guys get up and dance.
Too many lonely people playing it too safe, afraid to make a move, longing to get more out of life, but scared to try anything Too many people on the sidelines of this world, not getting in the game. Every day you get another chance to play and never be the same. Are you willing to make some mistakes to get better? That's what it takes. If you can talk, you can sing. If you can move, you can dance. If you can love, there's a chance for romance. So sing, love, dance. Sing, are you willing to make some mistakes to get better? That's what it takes. If you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk or you can roll, you can dance. If you can love, there's a chance for romance. So sing, love, dance. If you can talk, you can sing. If you can move, you can dance. If you can love, there's a chance for romance. So sing, love, dance. Sing, sing,
Good morning. Isn't that just what you needed to get your blood flowing? Yeah. So as we take this energy, we move into our prayer. I invite you to take a deep breath and move into a space of knowing that this energy, this light, this love, and this willingness to sing and dance is the very presence of God and awareness within you being awakened, being brought forward into this present space, allowing you to become alive with that energy, knowing that even in the pains of life, even when we have the fear rise up within us, even when we have loss and mourning, we know that we can call upon that awareness of God within us to soothe, to connect with our loves and our heart. This very energy that rises within us is the energy that sustains us. And as we navigate these ever-changing times, we call on that energy to bring us into courage, strength, and the power to believe, the power of faith and love, knowing that we are fully supported. We are always held in the precious and loving arms of God, of the divine, of the universe, whatever language is welcoming and comforting to you. We choose this path. We choose this journey into healing, love, and infinite expression of the power and presence of the God within each one of us. And we say together, And so it is. Amen.
If I could look down on this path I walk from somewhere way up high, I could see the crooked road that I have come. I walked a mile with sorrow, I walked a mile with joy, and now I'm less afraid of either one. For every tear I've cried, there's a smile that I have earned. For every mile I walk, there's a lesson I learn. I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. Some people choose to live their lives on quiet avenues, while others find a place in the parade. Some like me are seekers, we take less traveled roads, believing we can find a better way. And though I get discouraged, I won't be turning back. I have joy as my compass and faith as my map. I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. Exploring. All of us are headed for the same destination, so why not blaze a trail that's got imagination? I'm not lost, I am exploring. Life is an adventure worth enjoying. Though I may not know where I'm going, I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring. I am not lost, I am exploring.
I love that song. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Now it is time for our affirmations and our meditation. And for affirmations, we have two affirmations. I am brave. I am brave. God's love within me cast out all fear. God's love within me cast out all fear. Let's do those two again. I am brave. I am brave. God's perfect love within me cast out all fear. God's perfect love within me cast out all fear. And at this time, as we prepare for this time of meditation, I invite each and every one of you to relax in your seats, relax your gaze, your eye sockets, or close your eyes. Feel your feet touching the floor beneath you. Notice how you feel in the chair that supports you if you're sitting. That support that the floor and the chair are giving you are symbolic of the support that we receive from the everywhere presence, always presence of spirit. Yes, the divine is fully and completely present all around you, and most especially within you. Breathe into that awareness of your oneness with God. Allow yourselves to now focus your attention on your heart space and envision within your heart a candle, a lit candle with a small flickering flame. Really notice that candle flame within your heart. Feel the sense of warmth. Hear the crackling of the flame. And as you hear the crackling of the flame, with each inhale, envision that small, steady, crackling flame getting bigger and bigger. Allow that flame to expand and just expand in your chest area, expand beyond your heart space. This flame. And as you're seeing this flame expand and you're feeling it expand, notice that you get a feeling of strength, a greater sense of surety. This flame is symbolic of the presence of the divine within us, which is our true nature. Whatever we may be experiencing, or whatever that we may go through that may be a point of challenge, or even something where we experience a sense of fear, we turn to this presence of God within us. We turn to this flame that is ever expanding. It's rising up from our chest area to our neck and into our head. And this flame is expanding down through our torso, through our legs, and to our feet, so that we become, our body is a flame with the divinity, the power, the presence of God right where we are. This flame strengthens us. In this flame, we feel a sense of courage, a sense of bravery. And in this courage and bravery, we can handle whatever we're experiencing, whatever challenge we may experience, whatever goal that we may set to accomplish. Even if we want a greater sense of peace, the presence of God within us is our surety of peace. And as this flame, we're this body of flame. We shine in the world. We let our light shine. We don't hide our light under a bushel basket. And as Jesus taught us, we are indeed the light of the world. And as we behold our brilliance, as we behold this flame of courage, this flame of bravery, this flame of truth, allow us to just sit with this just a moment in the silence. We are brave. I am brave. You are brave. Together we are brave. We are courageous. And the perfect love of God within us cast out any and all fear. And as we are in this space, we allow ourselves to bring our awareness and bring our attention back to the physical realm in which we are, back to the chair that we're sitting. We may wiggle our hands, our fingers, and wiggle our toes. That sense of bravery and strength that we experienced, we can call on it at any time. All we have to do is turn within to that center of strength and presence and power within us, and then open our minds to the truth, to the absolute truth, that we are brave, and God's love within us cast out all fear. And in the name and in the nature of the Christ within, we express gratitude and we say together, and so it is. Amen.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sails? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the race where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? You know there are. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, with the voice of courage whisper in my ear, maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead, where true believers dare to tread, never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am
Wow, wasn't that a great video? All those inspiring stories with those very brave and inspiring women who decided that they were going to move from a place of comfort and safety and dare to step out on what they were being led to do, what everything that was in them was telling them that it was theirs to do, and they decided to step out and be brave. That was a great video. I love that. What would you do if you were brave? What would you do if there was no sense of, not being restricted by anything? Well, in this lesson today, this message, I wanted to get really, really real, really, really gut honest about this thing that we call fear. Now, in scripture, there's a lot that is talked about in terms of fear, talked about in terms of overcoming fear. As a matter of fact, there are several places in scripture that teach us and caution us to fear not. It's an affirmation that can be used to navigate the experience of fear. And in the multi-million dollar self-help industry, there's a lot made out of overcoming fear and being weary of not allowing fear to to weigh us down or slow us down. Have you ever stopped to consider how do we do that in just the overall experience of fear? And I'm sure many of us have heard the acronym of what fear, FEAR, stands for: false evidence appearing real. And that's a very catchy saying, and it can be very inspirational. But you know, when it comes down to brass tacks, how do we really overcome fear? Well, one of the first things that we can do in understanding this thing that we call fear is recognize the fact that as a consequence of being human, there will be points and times in each of our lives where we will experience fear of some type or some stripe. It's a consequence of being human. This is one of the ways in which we can get real about fear. And if you're hearing the sound of my voice and you're thinking to yourself, I never experienced fear, I'm going to be honest enough to say to you that I love you. Well, I think it's pretty common knowledge that we all do experience fear from time to time. And we need to really have a balanced understanding of what fear is all about. And some of our mantras to not feel fear and not experience fear, we're going to have those experiences. And there is a range of possible fears where fear actually, believe it or not, serves us. Fear can let us know of an impending danger. You all might recall last week when I talked about the experience of my wife and I heading into a grocery store and getting an intuitive sense or a sense that something wasn't quite right with the situation. And so because of this sense that my wife felt, and even a sense of fear in what she was picking up, we decided not to go into the grocery store. We turned around, got in the car, and left. And you might recall the story later on that night, watching the news, we find out that there was a robbery taking place. The momentarily experience of fear that my wife had felt in that moment caused us to make a decision to avoid a situation that was hostile and maybe even dangerous. So fear can alert us to impending danger, and that impending danger can inform us of what the appropriate action is to take, either fight or flight, or maybe even fight if the situation warrants it. Sometimes fear gives us an indication of something that we may not want to do, but on further evaluation or further examination, it may be the healthy, necessary thing to do. I may not want to have that difficult conversation with my loved one or my friend or my spouse or my family member about a point of issue that is causing some tension or disharmony between the two of us. And I may experience a fear. But then as I sit with the situation, I'm learning that, although I'm feeling a discomfort, it would be good if I were to have this conversation so that it could bring some sort of harmony or resolution to whatever the issue is. And then we can get to loving each other in a more full way. So those are the types of fears that we can experience that would be what they refer to as rational fears. Fears that if we learn to navigate them, it can serve us because we take the fear, integrate it, and then from that fear, we take constructive action. Now, we kind of remember that theme because I'm going to go back to it a little bit later. Feeling fear and using it and shape-shifting the energy to use it for constructive action. But what about that unrational fear? What about the fear that we tend to stay stuck in? That fear that immobilizes us from taking constructive actions on things that our minds and our hearts and our spirits clearly tell us that is ours to do. So we saw in the video that was prior to me opening up the talk, all those brave women who dared to do something adventurous, do something daring. They dared to overcome whatever fear that they were experiencing and act on a sense of bravery. What happens when we become immobilized with fear and paralyzed with fear, and it prevents us from having a greater, more enriching experience of life via doing something that our heart is telling us to do, but we just, for whatever reason, we feel immobilized. We feel, I don't follow that dream that I feel passionate about because of fear. I don't take that brave step in accomplishing that worthwhile task or that worthwhile endeavor or that worthy goal that everything in me is telling me that it's mine to do, but I feel this fear, and this fear causes me not to move. There's a wonderful book that I've had for a number of years, for over 15 years, by the late Dr. Susan Jeffers. It's a seminal book, and I love the title of this book: Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And in the book, it's a recognition of what I was saying earlier, that we're going to experience fear from time to time. Yet, in spite of that fear, we can still accomplish and still achieve and still have a very rewarding experience of life by acknowledging that the fear that exists, and in some cases, even feeling that fear, and then getting on to business with whatever is ours to do, so that fear doesn't hold us powerless. It's a story about how we can tap into our bravery and tap into our courage and lean in and lean on that, in spite of whatever fear that we might be experiencing. And she talks about this very powerful insight that with whatever action we're afraid to take, in back of that action is some sort of fear in consciousness, of some sort of error in consciousness that I'm harboring. So for example, if I have this dream that I'm passionate about and I don't act on it in any way, shape, or form, in back of that inaction is something going on in consciousness. It could be a fear of failure. Maybe it's a fear of rejection, that in the relationships that I have to form, I'll be rejected in some sort of way in those relationships. It could even be a fear of success. I feel like I have it within me to be successful, but I'm afraid of what success might bring, what greater responsibility success might bring, what greater scrutiny success might bring, what greater attention success might bring. And in those error beliefs, there is an even deeper fear under that. Listen to this. When you peel off all the layers, when I peel off all the layers as to why I'm not moving out on this dream that I know it's mine to accomplish, and moving past the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear that I'm not enough, or the fear that I'll be successful, underneath all of those fears is a very basic, primal, fundamental fear that whatever is going on, this primal fear is, I can't handle it, or I won't be able to handle it. I won't be able to, I won't be able to handle the situation. It's going to subdue me or overcome me or do me in. So I can't handle the success that comes from this dream. Or if I go and I try and I fall on my butt and fail, I can't handle that. I'm just going to willow and succumb to that. I can't handle it. So in acknowledging that that primal fear of not being able to handle it is very powerful. It's a very powerful insight, because once we understand that, then we can take steps to overcome that, or to heal whatever it is that's driving that, so that we can get back to our bravery, get back to our courage, get back to that place. The scriptural reference this morning is something is very telling and instrumental in regards to getting to that place of strength. It comes from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 6 through 7. Therefore, I remind you to stir up the gift of God which is in you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Stir up the gift of God that's in us. Other scriptures, other translations say, kindle the flame in place of stirring up the gift of God. Kindle the flame of God that is within us. And God has not given us a spirit of fear, meaning that there is nothing hardwired in us, in our genes or in our DNA or in our innate Christ nature, that lends itself to fear. There's nothing at all. In our Christ nature is all of those divine attributes of love and peace, order, justice, beauty, understanding, wisdom. There's nothing negative that's there. So we don't have any innate spirit of fear. We can have experiences where we have momentary experiences of fear, but it's nothing innate within us. Everything within our Christ nature is that of love and of power and of God mind. And if we can always remember this and keep ourselves reminded of this truth, that we are the presence of God in action. We are innately and inherently one with the divine. Keep ourselves reminded of it and keep ourselves stirred up with this awareness. An active prayer and meditation life helps to keep ourselves reminded of this awareness and keep ourselves reminded of our innate spiritual power. The more that we do this and the more that we nurture ourselves in this, when we go through, it gives us a strength. It gives us a courage to be able to know that whatever is going on, we can handle it. Even though the worst may fall upon us, we can handle it, because what is going on in us and the power that is within us is greater than the conditions outside of ourselves. It's greater than the conditions, it's greater than the circumstances. Even though the circumstances can be challenging, the conditions can be daunting, we have within us that power and that presence and that awareness to be able to navigate, to be able to overcome, to be able to persevere. So whatever is going on, we can handle it, even if we don't know how things are going to play themselves out. We have that Spirit of God, or that Christ nature within us, and we can go through momentary experiences of fear, feel it, and not be stuck, not take up residence in fear, not change our address to 2371 Fear Lane. I can't handle it, Kansas, in whatever zip code you live in. We can do away with that, and we can take up residence in who we are in God. Very, very powerful stuff. Do you all know that I've been doing some form of public speaking in some way, shape, or form for the last 20 years? And do you know that each and every time that I am to speak, I feel a fear in doing it? I feel a fear. You might not believe that, but it's absolutely true. And I've heard the saying that if you get ready to speak and you get to the point to where you're not nervous and you're not feeling a little fear, you ought to stop doing it because you become numb. But in any event, I feel the fear. So each time before I speak, whether I'm speaking on a Sunday or I'm doing some public speaking event, or even if I'm counseling someone or I'm going to have a very impactful conversation with someone, I have an affirmation that I borrowed from Reverend Tom Thorpe. He he was a longtime teacher at the Unity Spiritual Institute, and recently he was the senior minister at Unity of Independence. He just retired. But anyway, I heard him say this affirmation, and so I say this affirmation each time before I speak. Divine love and wisdom express as me now. Divine love and wisdom express as me now. I'm affirming the presence of God when I do that within me and open myself up to come from that place. And most of the time when I affirm that affirmation, whatever momentary experience of fear that I have, it dissolves. There are times when that affirmation doesn't work because the fear is more deep-seated. And I experience that kind of fear when I know I'm going to be talking about very sensitive subject matter, or I know that I'm going to be talking about something that a subject in unity that I've never spoken on before, and I might be a little nervous that I don't have a good enough grasp of it in order to be able to teach it. So when I feel that sensation of being gripped, I just sit and take a few deep breaths and allow myself to feel that fear. Feel it for the moment, and then it dissipates so that it doesn't stay stuck within me. And once I get that sensation of dissipation, then I affirm divine love and wisdom express as me now. And then I have enough then I'm tapping into that courage center, that spirit of love and power and of sound mind that the scripture was talking about. Then I'm able to step away and take that nervousness, allow it to pass, and then come forward and do what it is that I need to do. So in that experience, as I talked about earlier, I'm able to take the fear energy and shapeshift it to feed my center of power, my center of courage from my Christ nature. And that's a ritual that I go through every time I get ready to speak. So in getting real about fear, we don't have to stuff it or deny it or acknowledge that it's not there. We just turn within and turn to our power center. We like in the meditation, we allow that candle flame to expand by feeding it the oxygen of truth, the oxygen of spiritual principle that allows that courage to build up and allows that sense of sound mind and sound footing to take root. And then we can go forward and accomplish those dreams. We can go forward and stand tall in the face of challenges. And especially with all that's going on in today's world and in today's time, there's a lot going on that can cause us to experience fear. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of instability, and insecurity going on, culturally, politically, economically. So it's great to have our spiritual tools and practices to draw from, to lean on, to keep us reminded of our connection with God so that we can gain enough stamina and enough courage and enough bravery to step forward and claim what is ours to do, and do it even if we have momentarily experiences of fear. So we are overcoming power. So this message is an invitation to remind ourselves of the fact that we are brave, we are courageous. It's part of our spiritual package as being spiritual beings, and we can always turn within to access it, either sidestep our fears, feel it and let it dissipate, or overcome it. and we do what we need to do. As always, I hold you all in very sacred space, and into that space, I speak a simple word of prayer: life, light, and love to you all. God bless you.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Art. You know, it's one of those things that we don't always get to experience the voice within us, that wisdom shining up within us, whether it be about fear or love. And it's extraordinary that each week we are blessed with the voice being brought forward, whether that be through Art or myself. We each have this opportunity to be grateful and express our gratitude within Unity of Wichita. So I invite you to check out the chat. I am just now sharing the link for unityofwichita.org/donations. If you have found some spiritual essence, some spiritual service within this experience today, I invite you to offer your tithe and your donation today. You can also mail it at Unity of Wichita, 2160 North Oliver, in Wichita 67208. So as we bring forward that energy that we experienced before the prayer and during the prayers, we bring forward that energy and we envision our giving, our prosperity consciousness being expressed in tithes and donations. I invite you to hold that essence within your hands, place it on your heart, and share the blessing of the offering with me. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Whew. Isn't that wonderful to be able to share in that? Oh, I love it. All right. Art.
Feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm
Yes.
feeling. We use the power of imagination to envision our tithes, our offerings, however we give it, however it flows forth. And we affirm that our tithes and offerings, we infuse them with love and energy and power. And we affirm that they go forth and flow forth in ways that support, in ways that educate, in ways that enlighten. We're grateful for the law of giving and receiving, the law of circulation. We place our faith in the law of giving and the law of receiving and the law of circulation, knowing full well that it is the divine, God the good, that is our infinite source of supply. We're so grateful. Together we say, so it is. Amen. You're up.
All right. I'm up. Okay. So we see in front of us, there's a new book study that's coming forward. In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. That is a Unity favorite. And I happen to know that it is the favorite of Art Handy's as well. So join him starting September 8th. So that's coming up very soon at 6:30 to 8 p.m. It's a book study that will be virtual on Zoom. So be sure and email or call the office and we'll be able to get you the information about the Zoom link, or better yet, you can check your e-blast and be able to save it in your email and never lose that link. Then we want to talk about the youth department. Whoop, whoop. Our youth department is this powerful group of young people. And this week they are going to be talking about resilience and being able, just like Art was talking about today, being able to move through fear and move into that awareness of the divine within. So if you have kiddos, if you have grandkids, nieces, nephews, whoever in your life that's a young person that could benefit from this kind of message, I invite you to go onto the calendar at unityofwichita.org and click the link for the youth department. I don't think you'll regret it. And with that, I am going to move us into our youth blessing. Art, I have to tell you, I've got this little person here and he's been running around upstairs, playing, dancing around. I can hear it. So I invite you to take all of those young people that you have in your life, envision them, and let's move into a space of blessing them. Are you ready? You see those little stinkers? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And with that, we move right back over to Mr. Art Handy, who will be leading us in our prayer of affirmation.
Well, you see our prayer protection there on the monitor. We will affirm that together. And then after that, we will hear the peace song and just really allow yourself to embody a spirit of peace as that song is playing. You may even sing along when the song is playing. But for right now, let us affirm our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Please unmute yourselves and say, have a great day to our friends on Facebook. Goodbye,
Have a great day.
everyone.
Have a great day.
All right, we're going to stop our stream to Facebook. Bye, everyone.